The movie takes place in 2036, a time with many technological advances that are mostly used for military purposes. In this context, a civil war breaks out between Russian insurgents led by the military commander Viktor Koval and the Ukrainian resistance. In response to this situation, the US government sends soldiers to support Ukraine, including state-of-the-art military androids known as GOMs. On their first mission, the American troops are ambushed by Russian insurgents who easily take out the GOMs, while the human soldiers try to take cover from the gunfire. From a base in Nevada, in the United States, they are being watched over by a drone operated by Lieutenant Harper, who spots a suspicious armored truck heading toward his fellow soldiers. Faced with this potential attack, Harper requests permission from Miller, the sergeant on the ground, to strike it with missiles. However, Miller forbids it because 2 wounded soldiers are still stranded in the middle of the road. Despite this, Harper tries again with Captain Bryden, arguing that it's a priority to save his troops, who are away from the impact zone. But Bryden also refuses. The moment Harper sees a rocket launcher emerging from the truck window, he decides to eliminate it with a missile, disobeying his superiors for the sake of his 38 fellow soldiers on the ground. Although he saved most of the troops, the 2 wounded soldiers caught in the crossfire were killed by the explosion, provoking Miller's fury. Tough decisions require strong wills. As a result, Harper is demoted from drone pilot and sent into the field at Camp Nathaniel, the American military base on Ukrainian territory, for the first time. He must now serve in a conflict zone rather than behind a screen. There he is greeted by Colonel Eckhart, who makes it clear that if Harper survives, he can return to the Air Force. But if he dies, his story will become a lesson so that drone pilots never disobey orders. Seeking his new captain, Harper enters a barracks where the GOMs are being loaded. Hopefully, they won't be so useless on the next mission. He finally finds Leo, his captain during this new stage. The first thing Leo does is review Harper's military record, which consists of 56,000 flight hours and a 99% effectiveness rate. He also learns about Harper's plans to marry his girlfriend when he returns home, but that's still a long way off. For the moment, Harper receives his first assignment under Leo's command, delivering shipments of vaccines to a clinic where there's an alarming cholera outbreak. The issue is that the clinic is in a war zone, even though it's full of innocent women and children. Leo then reveals that Russian forces aim to annex Ukraine to their territory. Spoilers, they went too far. But beyond acting as peacekeepers, the real objective of the United States, at least of Leo, is to stop Koval, who's responsible for killing 25,000 people in Kyiv with a bomb. He will not rest until he gets control of the perimeter system, a cache of Russian nuclear warheads in Ukraine. While they prepare for the mission, we see that Leo's body becomes transparent, revealing that he is an android. Harper is shocked, but Leo makes it clear that he needs someone trustworthy by his side. That is, no questions about his origins. To the rest of the army, he's just a regular captain, and only 2 people know his secret. And now Harper, who cannot understand why he was paired with Leo. Then Leo confesses that he personally chose Harper because he's someone who can see beyond the obvious. While Leo's momentarily distracted, Harper is beaten up by Miller's soldiers, with Miller furious over his fallen comrades. Fortunately, things don't get worse thanks to Leo's appearance. On the way to the clinic, the android asks Harper for a photo of his girlfriend Olivia, teasing him for her calling him Cuddly Bear. Suddenly, they come across a supply truck blocking the road, along with a crowd of civilians outraged by the invasion of their country. One of them dares to throw something at a GOM soldier, who wastes no time in shooting him. This raises tensions between the 2 sides, but Leo manages to calm the civilians by negotiating with their leader, asking them to move the truck so that his troops can pass. Everything seems to go well until they are attacked by Russian insurgents hiding in the nearby buildings. The GOMs can't stand up to them, because the insurgents throw special discs at them that blow them up within seconds. Caught in the chaos, Harper has a panic attack since this is his first time in combat, so Leo helps him escape and heads alone to the clinic, while the other soldiers remain to fight. On the way, Leo reveals that the Pentagon decided to create him as an African-American man because his face conveys neutrality. They finally arrive at the clinic in a refugee camp and deliver the vaccines immediately. Suddenly, a sniper sent by Koval fires incendiary bullets at them, but ends up missing and killing some medics. When he gets Harper in his sights, Leo jumps in to shoot him. The android tries to force him to confess Koval's whereabouts. As he vehemently refuses, Leo leaves him to the furious refugees. Shocked, Harper complains that they're not following military protocol, but Leo points out that although he was designed as a soldier, he can act on his own free will in extreme circumstances, almost as though he has emotions. Soon after, the duo meets with Sofia, the leader of the Ukrainian resistance, who seems to have a close relationship with Leo. This android never ceases to amaze. Sofia tells them that Kaval is after nuclear codes hidden in the city decades ago, although she doesn't know exactly where. However, she takes them to a black market so they can contact Oslak, an arms dealer who might have information. Of course, this man is unwilling to talk, so Leo has to use his combat skills. While Leo keeps going, Oslak tries to flee, but the android quickly intercepts him. With no other choice, the dealer reveals the location of his insurgent buyers, a nearby bank. Right after that, Sofia shoots him in cold blood, since he used to be an ally of the Ukrainians. On the way, Harper suggests they should call for backup, but Leo refuses, revealing that he's investigating Kaval on his own, behind the US government's back. That's why he needs Harper as a companion. While Harper's by his side, the tech team won't suspect anything, allowing Leo to remain active. Before entering the bank, Leo asks Harper to remove his respirator because the Russians could detect it. We also see that the android can feel pain. Once inside the bank, they come across some insurgents. Leo suspects Koval might be there, so he alerts Eckhart. They take on the Russians, combining their gunfire and melee skills, while the nervous Harper tries to get the hostages out. At one point, Leo runs out of ammo, but that's not a problem for someone like him to finish off his enemies, or so he thinks, until a Russian with a machine gun appears and catches Leo off guard. Harper quickly hands him a grenade launcher, helping him finish the robot. After that, Leo tries to get to the vault, taking out more enemy GOMs, while Harper leads the hostages outside, where he meets reinforcements. Instead of human soldiers, though, they are GUMP units. Suddenly, insurgents and their GOMs emerge from the bank with hostages in tow. Harper tries to negotiate as Leo would, but the American GOMs, following their programming, immediately open fire on the Russians. This sparks a shootout in which several civilians are killed, while Harper tries to save as many people as he can. Then Soldier Gaddies warns him to get out because they've called in a drone strike to flatten the whole area, willing to kill innocent people to take down Koval. Meanwhile, Leo is finishing off more insurgents and robots in epic ways. He sees a soldier trying to flee with the codes across the roof, but the man doesn't realize he's up against a super android. Although Leo obtains the codes, he realizes it wasn't Kaval. Right then, the missile fired by Gaddies obliterates the bank, killing multiple innocents in vain. Harper has managed to take cover in another building, and upon emerging, he comes across the incinerated bodies of people he had tried to save. When he meets up with Leo again, a traumatized Harper suggests they bring the codes back to base, but the android has other plans. Leo confesses he's been manipulating everything. His system allows him to ignore human authority if it shows altered behavior, something that perfectly fits Harper, since Harper removed Leo's backup chip, thinking it was a tracker. Additionally, thanks to Gaddis's airstrike, the army now believes both of them are dead. With free will, the android knocks Harper out of the vehicle. When Harper regains consciousness, he's captured by Sofia's people. Meanwhile, Leo meets with Kaval, with whom he's been secretly working. He hasn't yet given Kaval the codes. At the same time, Sofia tells Harper that Leo is on her side, but not exactly on the United States side, which she blames for the Civil War. Washington only seeks to amplify the conflict in order to weaken Russia. Therefore, Sofia wants the android to attack that country with nuclear warheads to show them the real consequences of collateral damage. Back to Leo, whose negotiations get complicated when Kaval refuses to reveal the location of the perimeter system, and Leo isn't happy with Kaval for repeatedly trying to kill him, despite their agreement. As things escalate, despite being outnumbered, Leo wipes out the insurgents in a matter of seconds, including Koval, whom he impales with his own flag. Shortly after, Sofia frees Harper, as she doesn't view him as a threat to their plans. He then returns to his base to inform Gaddies of Leo's plan. They can track him remotely because he's driving Oslak's vehicle. Harper contacts Bale, his former colleague in the drone control room, and asks her to follow Leo's trail, though they can't send troops in because that area borders Russia. Harper replies it won't be necessary. He will stop the android on his own in an effort to atone for the mistakes he's made. Before leaving, Harper receives a magazine of incendiary bullets from Miller, the only type of ammunition capable of hurting Leo. Finally, the soldier arrives at an abandoned factory where the nuclear warheads are hidden. As he makes his way inside, he finds the bodies of Koval's men, who were waiting for the codes, never expecting a homicidal android to show up. Leo's about to initiate the launch when he senses Harper's presence and quickly neutralizes him, but not before taking a few hits himself. The android resumes the launch sequence. In 5 minutes, the world will witness an atomic massacre. Luckily, Harper regains consciousness and fires incendiary rounds at Leo, which work perfectly. In his final moments, Leo reveals that his real target is the United States, so he can destroy the robot factories. These machines will only ignite more wars in the future. While Leo had a point, his plan involves the deaths of millions, so Harper calls in an airstrike to destroy the site and disable the warheads. Before escaping, Harper tells the rogue android that humans can and will improve. Because of that heroic act, Harper earns his return home and a medal. He left as a disgraced officer and returns a national hero.
If you want interesting movie recaps, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.